Hello, my name is Maria Ellie Marquez Marine, and today I will be talking about the VPSO program here in Alaska. The VPSO program actually has something similar in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they're titled COPS, which is a community-oriented policing service. They also had a report come out where the individuals hired under the COPS grant felt underfunded. Um, Even though BIA receives federal funding, they felt that they were not given the same package or value to what they were being hired as. And similar to the VPSO program, their intent is to have um, those with the same ethnic background or from the villages come and serve their communities in a friendlier manner, knowing the traditions and tribal customs. So, after listening to Mr. Samuel Alexander and Jody Potts, I looked up what public law she was mentioning and referring to when Alaska is considered a mandatory state, or one of 6 mandatory states. And this is Public Law 83-280, which is now referred to in reports as just PL 280. When it was established, it shifted federal monies and responsibility of creating and having law enforcement for the communities over to the state. However, no federal monies was given to establish this, and so the states pretty much had to figure out exactly how much they would allot their budget towards that and what they needed to begin that. From the states here in Alaska, we created the Village Public Safety Officer, and this is uh, in order to have people that are in communities feel safe. And when it was created, the troopers actually felt like it was taking away a lot of their responsibilities and that it would offend their sense of professional law enforcement. This was kind of a quote that stuck with me in reference to Miss Potts' interview. Um, they should be regarded as professional law enforcement, seeing as they respond to the exact same circumstances that uh, police officers in communities here in Fairbanks would also respond towards. But it also highlights how they did not see them as professionals right off the gate, and it could have been uh, corrected from the beginning had they seen us just provided um, further guidance on training that was mandatory for the VPSOs to attend to and covered federally, or not federal, financially covered by the states. So I feel like we missed out on that. The intent behind the VPSO program was given by James Messick and William Nix, and they actually wanted the communities to take more ownership of enforcing either laws or traditional aspects. They saw as well that the Western legal system was ineffective here, and that kind of falls into what other human security reports have also mentioned, is that the Western ways and methods do not really transfer well here in Alaska. But they also wanted that the villages to have their own local control and self-determination. And that also falls into fate control in my point of view. Um, Having the local communities acknowledge the VPSO's program would give them more of an idea that this is something that they should take pride and ownership in. And then the other 1970s quote was that the VPSO program would be law enforcement, firefighting, search and rescue, water safety, and emergency medical supplies into one position. Uh, all of this requires extensive training and funding. Um, even for search and rescue, the funding there for safety harnesses and proper training, the ability to take someone out of the water that maybe um, fell through an ice and possibly, hurt their neck, that would require also extensive medical training in order to take them out of there. So having all of this fall into one position, I feel back in the 1970s, again, they should have realized that extensive training and funding that the VPSO program would need in order to even succeed. So back in 1974, Wendell Chino, was the president of the National Congress of the American Indians. They actually viewed Public Law 280 as infringing on tribal self-government. Um, she mentioned that it was because the jurisdiction under Public Law 280 was coming into question. And again, I feel like that this is very true, even with the interview, the jurisdiction issues between not only federal and state, but state and VPSOs. Um, it would cause a hindrance more than it would helpful. Um, so I feel like this quote back in 1974 should have also seen that there should have been further clarification and guidance. So in 2008, the VPSO report highlighted Senator's memorandum. I'll just kind of move myself out of the way. They mentioned that there was a shortage in Alaska, and that after meeting with 110 people, the villagers' main concern was drug and alcohol abuse. Again, from that interview, it seems like a lot of this stems from that, and that's another human um, health need, is to find appropriate ways to deal with this within a community. But they also saw that there was only 51 VPSOs serving in 180 villages. So the shortage of people is like more than 2 to 1. So each village does not have public safety faces or law enforcement available readily. So they would, of course, lose time in reporting a crime of a serious nature and securing crime scenes and finding out, when all this occurred. So that also highlights the program was not properly deployed. I know in the interview it was mentioned that it was supposed to be a buy-in, and that was very sad, especially for communities where if there is a large issue that came across, such as murder, um, you would want the law enforcement there readily available to investigate and catch the perpetrator. And they also mentioned that the VPSO program did not have adequate housing. And this one highlights what you would look into walking into uh, to report a crime. And this is really mind-boggling, especially if you're a victim of in the community and having to walk into something like this. I feel um, you would be concerned if they have, the funding to look into your concerns. So I feel like having that professional image as a law enforcement, even with buildings and equipment, would go a long way for communities to also respect this position. I took away a lot from the interview that Miss Jody Potts had given, and another statistics from another report also mentioned that within 10,000 population of 10,000, the patrols between this community would be looking like 3 officers to the size of Delaware. And that's just unfathomable how much not only land coverage but inadequately spread they are. And these are my references. Thank you very much for your time.